Pertiet here, katiepertietdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me again in my studio. I wanted to go over another one of my releases that I designed for 49 Market in Sussex, and it's a small but mighty one. Have you seen it? It's the Floral Mix Cluster. It has a stamp and a die to cut out that floral. And I want to show you some of the different ways that I've been using this stamp. So join me, here we go. Okay, let's get started. Like I said, we are going to talk about the Floral Mix Cluster today. And it's a very simple stamp and die. Let's see, you can see the stamp design here. Put that over white so you can see. And then there's a die that cuts out the floral. Now, if you've been following along on some of my Instagram, you'll see that I've been using this stamp to add texture to my projects. So kind of refresh here. Like in this design, you can see the grid and parts of the floral in the background here. Perfect for texture, as well as in this tag. And this tag, and this tag. So it's important to, think beyond what you would expect when you see a product like this. It has a specific use, but it also has so many other uses. And it just, I like to try to think that I design for a multi-range of projects, and that's what we're going to go with here. So I want to show you the real intended use for this stamp. So I've got my stamp here, and in order to stamp and then die cut, you really have to stamp it twice. So I'm going to stamp with what is going to be my background color, and that's the Peat Moss Archival ink. So I'm going to ink up my stamp real good. And I'm going to stamp it on my card front here. I'm going to try to make sure I'm squared up a little bit because of the ledger grids. I don't want it to seam off. Push down and lift up. I should have pushed down more in the center, but I didn't. But that's okay because we're going to do it again on another piece of paper, and I'm going to color that one up, and then that is the one that we're going to die cut. So it will end up going over this. So it's okay. I just have to be sure to press good on this next round. And I'm going to use the watering can. Ink it up again real good. It's really the flower part that I want to be sure gets inked up real good. All right. And again, because I'm going to die cut, I don't have to be quite as precise and square, but I'm really hoping that I rub it down good. Now you can see there's not as much design right there. So I did kind of get it, but I lost some of these leaves. So, oh, I did much better that time, didn't I? That looks good. Okay. So now we're ready to move on. What I like to do next is to color it in. So I'm using the Derwent Inktense crayon. They're not crayons, they're pencils. You can see here. And I'm just going to go in here, lightly color them in, and then I'll play some music so you don't have to listen to me coloring. Okay. that I've got it all colored in with the Derwent pencils, it's time to go in and add some water. So again, these colored pencils are very similar to watercolor crayons, but they're watercolor pencils. So it allows you a little bit more detail if you want. I didn't really go into a lot of detail on this, and come to think of it, as I'm looking at it, I want to add a little bit of yellow in the center there. Okay, that's all. So now I can go in with the water and turn it into a painting. So again, these pencils are vibrant. They're good, just like the Caran watercolor crayons I use. I really like the quality of the colors. These are artist grade and really, really nice. Had them forever, and I love that now that I have these stamps and dies, I can use them in more than just my fine art painting. I can use them in crafting. So really nice, and they give some really lovely color, and it helps make your stamp design more than just stamp. It turns it into art. And with these stamps, you're the artist. You choose the colors, you paint it, you make it to match your project or your mood or your style. They're very versatile and flexible and allow for a great amount of creativity. All right, we've got a lot of yellow happening there, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to come from the edges where the coral color is, kind of bring that down. Sometimes when you've got too much water, it's good to dab your brush over on paper towel and then kind of drag over it, and that'll pick up the water so that it doesn't get too saturated and then your paper starts to get lumpy. I'm not using watercolor paper. When I do use watercolor paper, I prefer hot press with a smooth texture, but I'm just using the plain heavyweight paper from 49 and Market. They have some packs of white and black essential cardstock, and it's in the heavyweight, just like the pattern papers. And it works really well for this kind of art. It's not super wet. Even when it is super wet, it really kind of holds, because that is the same paper that was used to make the memory journals that I'm always using in my videos too. All right, so now we are all colored in. All right, now that we're all colored in, it's time to die cut and add it to this card layer. So I'm gonna go ahead, I've got my die here. If I just position it over my floral and tape it. And some people have asked why I don't put a magnet sheet underneath to hold it. And that is because I have a pacemaker defibrillator and magnets are a no-no. So you won't see me use those except for some cute little thing I saw Kathy Zilski use that I got because it was a little magnet and not quite as powerful as a big sheet. Okay, so I've got my die here already, and I'm going to go over and die cut it. So simple as that. There, I've got it all die cut and ready to go. But as I'm looking at this, because this is how I'm going to do it, I'm going to position it with pop-up dots. But this card needs a little bit more oomph to it, doesn't it? So let's see. I'm going to find... You've probably seen me really digging on these. These are the Lindy's Magical Shakers. So This is Dunka Blue, or Dunka Biscuit, and one of my favorites. So I'm going to sprinkle a little of that. And the thing with these is, you know, in a lot of ways, it's a mystery. You're not sure what you're going to get as you sprinkle these out. Oh, and the other favorite color is Pinky's Up Pink. Whoops, made a mess. I'm going to be pink everywhere. And I just kind of tap. That's the ideal anyway. The ideal is not to make a mess like I did. All right, so now that I'm all sprayed, here comes the magic. I'm going to add some water. And then I like to go in again so that my paper doesn't warp. Kind of dab it with paper towel. See what I've gotten there. And then, so when I lay it over, I really like that. I feel like I need a little bit more green in it though. So I'm gonna look and see what perhaps I have that could be used for a little green. Oh, here's one. Okay, we've got Drink Me Silly Mojito. Let's give this one a try. So it's so fun to just be spontaneous and figure out what makes your project sing to you. And these little sparkle shakers are really fun. Okay, so that really gave a mix of colors. And I think that's a good balance. All right, now I need a dry card. So I will return after drying this with my heat gun. All right, so I'm all dry now and I'm ready to add my die cut to my card. And I'm gonna use, these are scrapbook.com adhesive dots. And these are what I'm going to use. It's going to add a little bit more dimension to my card. So I'm just going to take a couple, put one over here, put one, oops, get it off of there, put one here, and then I'll go for a third one. And I will do that one down here. And then just you peel off the back side. And then it is ready to go. So again, I'm just kind of lining it up over the base image. And see, look at that, really nice. You can see the shimmer from the magical shaker. So you could trim this up and mount it on another card. But the last thing I want to do is, of course, add a sentiment. So I'm using the printable sentiment strips over on my website, katiepertietdesigns.com, and I will link them up below. They're really easy to use. They're PDF sheets, and you can either get white strips. You can print the sheet with the white strips, or like this one, the black strips. And then you have a whole assortment of sentiments all ready for you to use when you are doing your card making. So I think I would put that, might kind of tuck it under. So get some glue. And we're just about done. Pull that up. And I really like this glue press. I didn't know I needed it. A friend gifted it to me, and it's really great with my arthritis. So put it there, straighten it out a little bit. There, I think that's good. And there we go, all set. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's enlightened you a little bit about how to use the floral mix cluster. It's a really fun little cluster, simple but effective, and so many uses for it. So remember to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask them below and I will do my best to come back and answer them. All right, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.